according to my issuing authority, anyway. Whoa! Well, we do have to go over a few Coast Guard mandated safety things, so let's briefly look up and listen to the lovely safety lecture. You are free to stand up at any time if you like throughout the tour. Get your full 360 view. Just, make sure your sea legs are on. We don't want anybody tripping or falling today, especially onto that glass, because that is real half-inch thick, unmagnified plate glass. Perfect for looking through, but if you fall on it, it will probably break, and the fish will probably laugh at you. You'll notice we have life jackets overhead, child size in the front, adult size in the middle and back, some fire extinguishers in the corners, first aid equipment here in the back as well. If needed, we'll pull down the life jackets, put them on, exit through the front or the back, make for the shoreline like your lives depend on it, and you should be fine. If you do need any assistance, we have a pontoon boat on standby further downriver, and the gators are always patrolling and ready to come and get you. You know what I mean? And these cormorants to the right, they're always patrolling as well. As you can see, these birds here with the orange beaks and stopping frames, very common here. And for any kind of medical emergencies, get my attention, let me know. We have a first aid kit, doc's not far at all. We can always call EMS. We've not needed that yet, so let's make this a safe tour, shall we? Let's knock on wood. Here we go.
I saw a fish.
Yeah. See what we can see out here. We've been doing these tours here for 140 years now, since 1884. This is actually the oldest commercial tour in Florida. The boat has changed a bit. Back then it was just a rowboat with a window in the bottom, I believe. But the river is more or less the same, and most of the animals in it. And the fish, of course. Seen any fish yet?
Yeah, tons of them.
Let me guess. Large blue, kind of striped, large white buggy eyes. Those were tilapia.
Oh,
Those fish you see in the grocery store in fillet form are very common here. In fact, they're an invasive species from the Mediterranean Sea that make up more than 60% of the fish population today. But wildlife preservation law says we cannot hunt or fish them, at least not here, and that's why they're all named Lucky. Hi, Lucky. So we have more fish here as well. I'm seeing a few sunnies up there in the front now, and a couple more coming up to the left. Oh, more than a couple actually. Looks like we got a whole school of them over here. Take a look. Yeah. Now most of these are common sunnies, but we have another kind of sunny with blue stripes on their sides. Those are known as bluegill sunnies.
Oh yeah, the blue.
And we're also home to 7 types of bass, 2 types of gar, 2 types of catfish, mullets, bowfins, and more. In this lovely Silver River. And of course, we have our springs, the first of which is beneath us now. That is the 26-foot deep Spring of Stars. So named because of the many Hollywood movie stars that have built here over the years, including Burt Reynolds, Jerry Lewis, Jackie Gleason, James Dean, Brie Larson when she was a kid, and Johnny Weissmuller, if anyone remembers who Johnny Weissmuller was. No? Tarzan, that's right! Yes, the original Tarzan from the 30s. First trivia of the Bella Day goes to you. Congratulations. Looks like we got a few mullets down there to the left as well. Those kind of gray shark-looking fish. And yeah, we have about 200 documented Hollywood productions here over the years, going back as far as 1916 when Thomas Edison did his first ever underwater film here called The Seven Swans. And it's easy to see why with how clear the water is. Because it all comes from the springs, it stays clear and bright no matter how deep you go. And it's always 72 degrees Fahrenheit and 99% pure. Which, according to the FDA, makes it theoretically drinkable. So yeah, I'll give it a try if you trust the government. Personally, I don't recommend you try because the other 1% usually comes from the fish. And you know, those fish are the real stars now. Since we became a wildlife preserve in 2013, most Hollywood production has stopped, with exceptions given to wildlife-based content for Animal Planet, National Geographic, and things like that. So yeah. I would call them starfish, but that'd just be too corny, right? And here we come to our next spring, Black Cave. And it looks like we have a catfish down there too. You can kind of see it there. It's flat, long, and wide head. Now this spring is about 36 feet deep at the mouth of that cave. And we call it the Creature Spring because that cave was once home to a creature that you may know as the creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah, those classic monster movies, those original 3, all the cave scenes in them were filmed in this cave. They even gave us one of the costumes when they were finished, which sits next to our restrooms today. Be sure to check it out if you haven't seen it yet. Given to us by the stuntman himself, Rico Browning, who's a pretty famous stuntman. 1900s, did a lot of James Bond movies, was the creator of a television show called Flipper that you may have heard of. Well, this was his first Hollywood job, his first stunt job after being a local dive instructor here, and he could reportedly swim down into that cave fully costumed, around for the camera and up again, just holding his breath. He very rarely used oxygen tanks. He could hold his breath up to 3 minutes. Which is good, because, you know, he was playing a fisherman. They don't really breathe air, do they? And he had a pretty good career, lasting until his unfortunate death last year, at the ripe old age of 93. Quite the legacy behind, all of which started right here in Silver Springs. Alright, things are getting shallow now. We're actually looking at maybe 3 or 4 feet at this moment. And that's why, as you can see here, this wooden boat never came out after coming in. This is the wreckage of a 1930s barge, back when this was still considered navigable water and we still did shipping here. But it apparently struck ground, caught fire, and sunk, which is one of the many reasons that shipping stopped here. And we're only a foot or so in terms of draft, so we can observe it here just fine, no issues. Just, you know. And you don't have to worry because this is a new aluminum boat from the 1960s you're riding today.
Well, look at that thing.
Totally up to date, totally. According to our mechanics. As you can see, there's not much vegetation in here, nothing but rocks and algae. Another reason we call this area the flats, so you can get a good look at the bare river bottom. What it looks like when there's no grass, like there is basically everywhere else. But it's gonna get deeper once again back here as we come to our next spring. A spring where you'll actually get to see the vent itself. A spring which we call the Popcorn Spring. Here towards the back of the boat now. About 25 feet deep, this particular one. Fairly easy to see where the name came from. All that white stuff the water pushes out, which we call popcorn. Though some people call it Florida snow, at least now I've seen here. But can anyone tell me what all that white stuff is actually called?
Sand.
Sand? No, not sand.
Seashells?
Seashells, yes! That is right, seashells. Those are little broken bits of seashell from when Florida was beneath sea level, which it was for most of Earth's history, until about 30 million years ago. These are the seashells from the animals that used to live here, now compacted in what we call limestone, our main bedrock. And it breaks apart from the spring vents, and that's why we see it here. In fact, most of the white rocks in this part of the river are seashells. You might even see intact seashells in certain places. So keep your eyes open, appreciate the white glimmering beauty, and definitely don't take it for granted. Ah, you like that? I got it off a Happy Meal. Oh, we got a snake. Oh wait, no, that's a bird. Sorry. That is a snake bird, everybody. More commonly known as the anhinga. And there it goes. As soon as I say their names, they always disappear. Another common bird here. Yeah, easy to see where the name snake bird came from.
Yeah, snake bird.
In fact, you should be able to see many more if you look to the right. See this island? Look at the treetops, the branches. And you'll see why we call it Bird Island. Yep. Now, more of those cormorants we saw, the anhingas, the snake birds are the silver-winged, skinny ones. And the small, poofy white ones, those are babies, maybe only a few months old. Still need to learn how to fly. And this is August. Back at the height of nesting season, between March and May, we counted almost 40 nests on this one island. It's all active. And let me tell you, with that many birds in one spot, those leaves turn white very quickly. We have another nest of this sapling to the right as well. You might see the anhinga sitting in it. What appears to be the mother, I think. Or is that the father? No, that is the father. Yes. You can tell the difference by the colors of their necks. Black-necked adults are male, tan-necked adults are female. General rule with birds, the larger they are, the darker they are, the more likely they are to be dudes. So we got a little baby turtle on that log we just passed to the right among the lilies. You can see that. Yeah, tiny little slider turtle.
Yeah, I saw it.
And those are the most common kind of turtles you can find in this part of Florida. In fact, those are the same kind of turtles you can find in most pet shops you walk into. They're very common. Available in red, yellow, and orange bellies, all at your local pet show. They are represented by the state, so they are not for purchase. Hopefully we'll get to see some bigger ones sooner or later. They can get up to 2 feet long when they're not limited to a tank. Might go looking around for the algae and grasses that they eat. Grasses like this eel grass. That's the name of the grass that we see here most commonly in this river. Only there's no eels in it. I'm not exactly sure where that name came from, but around here, most people call it riverweed. Because it's very similar to seaweed. The main difference being that it's in a river. And no shortage of algae, as you can see. Especially during the summertime, with more sun, it can grow like a wildfire. Which has perks and downsides. The perk is that more algae produces nitrates, and in a flowing river, that can keep it clean and uncongested. On the downside, the more it grows, the harder it gets to see certain things. Like this hollowed out half of a tree you might see beneath us. Can you all see that now? That is a sunken Native American canoe. Yeah. It's a relic of the Timucua Native Americans, we believe. The Timucua tribe, which was the prime tribe here before the land was colonized. This one's about 25 feet long, probably a ceremonial canoe, and according to the University of Florida, over 500 years old. Looking pretty good for a tinge, I think. And that's because they built it from cypress wood, like they did all their canoes, because cypress wood produces cypressine oil, and that oil can preserve it for that amount of time, and even longer. They think some amount of it will still be here 500 years from now. So book your tickets, everybody. And as for that taller array of objects, that whole structure lined up next to the canoe, you might have been looking at that. Well, you might not even believe me if I tell you that that is the fossilized algae-covered backbone of a sauropod dinosaur.
Oh, yeah?
What? No
And you
way.
should, because it's a rock. Sorry. Yeah, see, that's what we thought it might have been too, but then the University of Florida came